Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Nimble training webinar. My name is Michaela Underdahl, and I'm working in the marketing department here at Nimble. And today I'm excited to walk you through our latest addition to Nimble called Workflows, showing you how it differs from our regular sales pipeline. And we will also discuss reporting. And before we get started, because I saw that we have some new people on here, I want to make sure that I also cover very quickly what Nimble is. So Nimble is an easy-to-use CRM that works for you in both Microsoft 365 and also Google Workspace and everywhere else you work. And what we mean by that is that we develop browser extensions for Microsoft Edge, Firefox, Safari, and Chrome, and all the available browsers, basically, and also for Outlook and Gmail. So this way, you will be able to use Nimble outside of Nimble, because we realize that we all have our own workflows and we don't need to get even more distracted by having to go into different places to do what we need to do. So that's why we developed our extensions to help you use Nimble from the places where you're used to. So if you are on Office 365 or Microsoft 365, please install the Outlook extension, and it will allow you to create new contact records from the emails that come to you, and also you will be able to surface existing Nimble contact records, add notes, create deals, schedule follow-ups, and so on. And same for our Gmail customers. You can install it to your Gmail as well. And just to reiterate, we are also available on all the main browsers. So Nimble is a customer relationship management tool that allows you to combine all your contacts from various different places into one easy-to-use solution. And we automatically match the contacts with communication histories and calendar appointments into one unified contact record. So then when you open up a contact record in Nimble, you know exactly who the person is, what was the last thing you've done with them, who did it in your company, what are the next steps, and who is responsible for getting it done. You can also upload files to the contact record and manage your internal workflows, everything in one place. So everything is nice and organized, and you can use Nimble as the main source of truth. Nimble is also available on both iOS and Android. So with that, let me go into Nimble, and I'm going to go full screen here. And as I mentioned at the beginning, workflows are a newly launched feature. And also, to reiterate for everybody on here, today we will only be focused on workflows, deal pipelines, and reporting. If you want Nimble demo, you can write to us at care@nimble.com, or you can go on our YouTube channel, and my colleague will be able to share link to our YouTube channel in the chat box with you, and you can review any of our recent recordings of entire demo of the entire application. So here we are. If you've been with Nimble for a little bit, you may have seen workflows expanding from lead pipelines to what it is now, workflows. And we started the feature as giving our users the opportunity to manage their leads on a special board or in a spreadsheet view, so they can properly visualize and see the progress they are making with them before they are converted to a deal. Because as you know, not all the leads will turn into sales opportunities and deals, and there is a lot that needs to happen before people are properly qualified to turn into a sales opportunity. So one of the use cases for workflows is to use it for sales purposes, to properly qualify your leads. And we expanded on that use case, and we developed templates, and this way allow the entire company to collaborate on the processes that they are managing on the workflows board. So I'll get to that and I'll show you all the details just in a second, but I want to finish the thought about using workflows for properly qualifying your leads. So leads can be added to your workflows board or your list from anywhere. You can bring them in via the browser extension. You can bring them in from Gmail extension, and you can also use an API to put them on there. If you are using it inside of Nimble, you can click on Add Contact and click on Existing Contact and start typing somebody that you already know you have in your Nimble database and put them on the board or into the list view with one click. If it's a new lead, you can manually add them this way, or you can also add new companies and then create it, and they would be added onto the workflow board or a list. And as you move your leads through the qualification process, you can just drag and drop, and you can also control what you see on each of the cards. So this is completely customizable, and you can customize it in settings and in configure fields. So actually, since I'm talking about the individual card fields, it will be done in configure fields. So when you click on that, you see that I've already selected phone number, email. I want to see the tags and the number of Twitter followers. So maybe this is not an information that's relevant to you, so you can delete that, and you may want to add other fields. And these can be any fields that are existing default to Nimble, and also any fields that you or somebody on your team may have created as custom fields. So you would click on Select Contact Field. And you can either scroll down through the entire list of all the available fields in Nimble, or you can type in here and find it manually. So if you know that you want to do work email, you can type it in here, or if it's any specific data field that you created and you remember it from the top of your head, you can just type it in here, or you can review what they are. So I've created a bunch of custom fields under a custom tab called Programs. And because I am using it for a different use case, not just to qualify my sales leads, but to manage, let's say, my influencer outreach or my relationships with the press, I can also see other fields that might help me to immediately know the necessary information about them. So if you create custom fields that contain information about the person having a podcast, what the podcast is, the name of it, the URL, or if you or somebody else on your team has been a guest on the podcast, you can display all the information on here. So depending on what information you want to immediately see on the card, you can define it here, and you can also drag and drop. And as I showed you before, information that's not relevant to, you can just uncheck and click on the trash can here to completely get rid of it. We also allow you to create custom fields straight from here as well. So one thing to keep in mind is that you would first have to choose the tab under which you would create the individual field. So once we go to a contact record, I will show you exactly what it looks like, and it will make more sense to you, especially those of you that are not familiar with how Nimble works yet. So I'm aware of that. It might not be super obvious how to create it here. So I'll show you just in a second. So when you first land on workflows, you will land in this sales leads example, this template. You can either run with it and use the stages that we have defined for you, or you can modify them. So in the top right corner here, you click on modify stages and you can rename them here. You can also add stage instructions, and this is very helpful if you are working as a team or just to follow a specific process. So you can define what are all the things that need to happen in order for the lead to be able to successfully move to the next stage. So you can use it as a checklist basically. So once you are happy with the stage name and the instructions, you can save changes. If you need to add, you can use these buttons to add stages before or after, and you can also delete them or actually archive them, because we will be introducing more robust reporting capabilities in Nimble, and we want to make sure we save the information to report on everything properly. So I will allow you to archive it here. And you can create these stages on here. So I already covered the board. So it consists of cards. You can move them through the funnel by dragging and dropping them. And when you click on the 3 dots on each card, as you can see, the information only shows if it's actually available on the contact record. So if the information you have selected to display on here hasn't been filled in, it won't show. It won't take up the real estate on the card here. So when I click on the 3 dots here, I have few options I can utilize here. I can move it to a different stage manually if I don't like the drag and drop feature. I can exit them successfully and also unsuccessfully. And we'll cover this in a second in more detail. I can completely remove them from the workflow. Maybe I added them to the incorrect workflow, or I added them by mistake. And for this specific sales use case, once you have properly qualified all your leads, you can convert them to a deal and put them on your sales pipeline. And our sales pipeline is a sales pipeline traditional one that you are used to from other CRMs. It allows you to set up the expected close date, the monetary value, and other things that we will cover later in today's session. So you also have the option to convert your qualified leads to a deal here. And if you'd like to work in the list view, you can switch to it like this. And the advantage is that for everybody that is transitioning from spreadsheet, this might be more familiar view. So you can completely change all the columns here, all the stages that you want to see here. You would do it here in configure table. Again, you can drag and drop. And when you click on these little pin buttons, you can basically freeze some of the columns like you would freeze them in the spreadsheet. Another advantage is that all the fields are inline editable. So again, just like in the spreadsheet, you can just click into it and change it manually. So for the industry, that's a custom field that we already pre-selected certain values here, so I can make it fast for my team to include the necessary information. I can move it to a different stage, just like this. If I want to capture the birthday, I can add it manually. It will also automatically calculate how long these people have been in each stage. If I want to see the tags that have been applied to the individual contact records, I can display them here. Can see the phone number here, email address, and any other fields that I have selected. So again, you can click on configure fields in the top right corner and define what is it that you want to display here. So that's the list view. And the board view, you can just switch to in one click, and it's just up to your preference. Whatever works best for you, you can just switch to them or just continue to use one of the views. When you click here at the top left corner next to this default pipeline, there's a drop down button. When you click on it and then click on Add New Workflow, you will have the ability to create new workflow from scratch or select from our pre-built templates. So depending on the department you're in or the vertical, we've also built few real estate workflows for you. You can go with the template that makes most sense for your use case. See if the stages make sense to you. You can also see the descriptions we have added there to help you and your team guide through the process of properly moving them to a successful closure. And we also suggested some of the fields and custom fields that you might want to display on the card. So if this makes sense to you, you can click Use Template. And here you can make any changes. You can change the name of the workflow, the description of this workflow, and you can also customize all the stages. So you can add stage before identified if that's what works better with your process. You can change the name of the current ones. You can change the stage instructions. And once you're done and you scroll further, you will be able to define the unsuccessful exit reasons. And this is great for reporting reasons because, as you know, sometimes we identify somebody that seems to be a good fit, but it doesn't work out. So you can identify all the different reasons that people tell you that, you know, they don't want to do business at this moment and so on, and type them in here. So those reasons can be maybe it's not in their budget, maybe they don't have the time right now, maybe they told you that they could pick this up again in 6 months. So you can define the reasons and then exit them from your workflow board as unsuccessful with this specific reason. And let's say 6 months from now, you can run a search in Nimble for everybody that was exited unsuccessfully from your workflows, and you can go back to them to see if now might be a better time. So this way, you can go to the people that seem to be lost, but you can try to revive them, and this is supposed to help you to basically recover lost business. So here you can also define what you want to display on the card on the board. And once you are ready to go, you can click here and create the workflow. So again, if you want to create new workflow board or a list from scratch, you click here, add new workflow, either create it from scratch or select from templates. So these are our real estate templates. We created one for managing both sellers and buyers together, and then one to managing just your buyers and one just your sellers. And again, you can review if the stages make sense, fields, if you want to get inspired and create any of these manually, and then you can run with the template. And the best thing about using workflows, and especially when I compare it to using spreadsheets to manage any of your processes, is that they are related to contact records. So not only this saves you time on research and data entry because you can quickly create contact records and add them to Nimble from anywhere, and we have also built in contact discovery and social enrichment feature, but you can also, so a lot of the information will update manually for you, but you won't have to be searching for important information in different applications. So if you keep everything in one place, you can always quickly click into the person's contact record and see all their information, quickly click into their social media accounts, see what is it they have been talking about, what is it that they are most passionate about, is there anything I can use as a conversation starter, and most importantly, review the relationship history, all the email, social messages you have exchanged with them, all the activities you've had with them. You can also jump to specific ones. You can see if there are any notes from yourself or anybody else on your team, if there are any deal sales opportunities pending, and it basically gives you the full 360 overview of the customer. And since we are here, I promise you that I would expand on the idea of using custom fields. So when you're on the contact record, the second tab here called data fields will allow you to create custom tabs. You can create as many as you want. So this is the one I was showing in the example before. So creating programs, that's the custom tab. So every time you are creating custom fields, first we will ask you what custom tab you want to create the individual fields under. So I named the tab programs, and these are the different programs I manage here. So I created specific groups. So one group, public relations, and these are the specific custom fields. Custom fields can be text fields, they can be drop-down menus, address field, numerical fields, and so on. So there's a wide variety of custom fields you can choose from, and all the custom fields you create can then be showed on your workflows boards, also in the list view, and of course you can segment on it using our segmentation feature. On the contact record here on workflows on the right side, this is where you will also see kind of like a little report on the status of the person being in any of your workflows. So I've had John in quite a lot of workflows because this is my test account. So I can see that he's in mail. Sales leads, this is the stage he's in. He has been in this stage for 83 days since August 23rd. So I can see the progress I've made with him. Also, he exited as unsuccessful. I lost him on my first appointment, and the reason was it just wasn't in his budget. So again, this contact record will give me the entire view into the relationship I've had with my contacts. And when you're here on the contact record, you can click on the three dots here and select reorder edit left panel widgets and move current opportunities to the front, hit close, and you can also manually add people to workflows from the contact record. So I covered that you can add them from the workflows board. You can add new ones, new companies, existing contact records, existing companies. You can do so from the contact record, and you can also do that from your Gmail. So here I am, I opened an email. I'm using the Gmail plugin, and Frank Kenny emailed me. I don't have him in my Nimble database yet, but I want to add him. So I'm going to click on it. This is the information Nimble was able to capture for me without me having to do any research or data entry. I can quickly add Frank to my Nimble database, and then I can add him to my workflow board. I can select which one. So I'm going to add him to my influencer marketing one, and I'm going to put him into the research stage because I've already identified him. And now on the extension in Gmail, it will tell me that he's already in one of my workflow boards. And since I just showed you how you can move the widgets inside of Nimble, you can also do it on the extension as well, both in Gmail and anywhere on the web. So here you would click on the three dots, click reorder and edit widgets. You can hide those that you don't need. You can revive those you have previously closed, and you can also drag and drop. So this will allow you to focus on the most important information specific to you and the role you play in the company. So That's the Gmail plugin, but I said that we are available on all the main browsers. I'm showing it to you on Chrome. So I just bring up the previously installed extension. And the way it works is that you can hover over any name anywhere, or you can highlight it when you go on their contact record, and we will help you create the contact record. So not the best example because Jim Keenan actually goes just as Keenan. So to help Nimble bring up existing information about actual people, it really helps to have both first and last names. So I'm going to try it with Max. So I was able to just hover over his name, but I can also highlight it. And Nimble will be looking for Max all over the internet. So that is him on Twitter. I'm going to say yes. And this is all the information Nimble grabbed without me having to do anything. So that really saves me a lot of time on data entry. I can add him with one click, and I can also add him to my workflows. Select the stage, or I can exit him, remove him, convert to the deal, and so on. So when we go back to Nimble, I also want to make sure that I cover some of the ways how you can report on the workflow. So when you are in the main context view, you will see that workflows already automatically appear on the left panel here. So you can quickly jump into your specific workflow and then see who the people are, in how many workflows they are, their status, their birthday, and so on. And again, you can configure the table and completely define what is it you want to see here. You can freeze specific columns. You can sort by name or any other fields. So this is a recently added feature. So you can choose how you want to sort the people that display here. Further, you can also click segment search here, and this will allow you to create searches using any default fields or custom fields or the combination of. So when you click here, add contact filter, you can again either go through this really long list of all the different fields that you have in your Nimble account, or you can type to filter. So I want to report on my workflow. So I just start typing workflow, and I can pull up everybody that's in my active workflow stage, and I can select one. So everybody I've scheduled calls with, I can pull them up this way. Well, nobody's here, so let me find a better example. Let's see, first appointment, if I have anybody. Well, never mind. Let's pretend I do have people here. I could select all of them and then send them a group message. So I actually do want to. So I'll do in contacts workflow, everybody that's in my workflow here, just excuse me, this is my test account. So you can select everybody here and then do a few different things. You could immediately send them a group message, which is very useful because maybe sometimes you will want to do that. So you can send them a group message, and the group message will be sent from the email that you connected to Nimble. It will not come from our servers. It will appear as a one-on-one message. You can also tag everybody. You can perform different actions. You can change the owner, change privacy. You can add them to a different workflow. You can delete them, and also you can further refine the search. So it can be everybody that's in my influencer marketing workflow, and I last talked to them in the last 30 days. So you can slice it down until you get the right group of people you want to do something with. And then another option you can take advantage of here is to create in a safe segment. The advantage of safe segments in Nimble is that they are dynamic. So once a contact record matches all the criteria in your search, they will be automatically added to your segments that you can save here and then also share to your team. By default, they will be private. So this is a great way to save time, so you don't have to continue to create in the same searches over and over again. So once you save it, it will be dynamic and basically applying these filters to your entire database. Once any contact records match the criteria here, they will be automatically added here. So then you can rely on this quick search and just jump to the specific lookups here. So that's workflows. And let's also cover our deals. Deals are also undergoing update. So I believe early next year we will be introducing new interface and adding more features. But before we get started, the main difference between workflows and deals is that deals are being used for the traditional sales focused way of doing business. So workflows can be used to pre-qualify your leads, because as you know, sometimes in the first few stages of your pipeline, you have leads that haven't been reviewed, haven't been properly qualified, and they're just taking up space here, and it's very likely that you will miss somebody. So if you use a workflow lead generation prospecting board to properly guide them through the process until they are really qualified, and then you turn them into a deal, this can really prevent a loss of business. Another use case is that not all our people-related processes are deals necessarily. So people in other departments in the company are using spreadsheets to manage relationships with press, influencers, different projects, and so on. So we develop workflows to cater not only to the sales team in the company, but also other departments. So workflows are more versatile, whilst our deals pipeline is very sales focused. So when you create a new deal, you can name the deal, you can set the probability, you can set the primary contact, the primary decision maker. You can also add as many participants as you want, the amount of the deal, expected close date. You can assign it to yourself or somebody else on your team. Set up the privacy, so either deals can be private to you or viewable and editable by everybody in your company, or they can be view only and only you will be able to make changes. Then deals can also be drag and drop through the pipeline, or you can do it manually. So you also can create multiple deals pipelines in case you are selling multiple products or multiple different services. You can create different pipelines for that and put them into different stage manually. And then when you, let me go to a different example here. So when you open up a deal, you will also see the history of the interactions with anybody involved. On the right side, you will see the Nimble extension, giving you everything that is available on the main contact record, so you don't have to go to it, but it's on the right side available to you to find out any information necessary, like when was the last time you talked to them, when is your next appointment scheduled with them. If there's none, you can quickly schedule it straight from here. If you can just schedule it, you can message them, select the email you want the email to go out of, and also you can use any of your email templates here, decide if you want to track it. So I do want Nimble to track the opens and clicks, and then you can send it straight from here without having to leave the place where you are working. So messages will show here. Any activities related to the deal specifically will also be captured here. You can also add attachments. And regarding deals, you can also switch them from a pipeline view to a list view, just depending on your preference. Some people work better when they can visualize and drag and drop. Some people prefer to work in more spreadsheet-like view. So when you are working in your pipelines, you can select the pipeline you want to work with. You can also segment it by the owners, so deals that you are responsible for or your entire team is working on, or a specific sales rep. Those that are active, have been won, lost, or stuck. And when you go to the deal again, you can also click on the drop-down menu here. This is how you can mark a deal as won, lost, or you can delete it. When you win a deal, we also ask you the exact amount, the actual close date, and the reasons, and it will be forever stored under individual contact records, so you can always see the history. When we go to reports, you will be able to create a dashboard on all your pipelines. You can create a team report, or you can report on individual pipelines, or create a report for a specific sales rep. You can also forecast deals on here and review the deals history. And as I said, we are working on the redesign of both deals and reporting, and more reporting capabilities are also coming to workflows. So with that, I want to make sure we also cover all the questions that have come in. And before we finish up, I want to make sure I also tell you about our upcoming webinars. So next week, we will be offering a webinar that will guide you through the entire application, feature by feature, and we will also offer an overview of our mobile application. The following week, December 1st, we will be hosting a webinar that will show you how to clean up your database and how to continue to keep it clean. So that's a really good one. And then we will do another general overview, so we alternate. So if you have any suggestions on what types of webinars you would like us to incorporate into our rotation, feel free to either let us know in the survey that's coming after today's webinar, or you can always email us at care@nimble.com. For those of you that are new to Nimble and you would like to take Nimble for a spin, you can actually use nimble.com/offer/webinar30, and we will also be sharing this link in the chat and in the follow-up email to you. This link will automatically give you a 30-day trial. So a regular trial is 14 days. And for new users today, we give you the opportunity to test Nimble out for 30 days. If you're currently in trial, we would like to extend the offer to you as well. Just email us at care@nimble.com and we will manually add days to your trial so you can also take advantage of the 30 days. And let's go into questions now. So Mark asked, and let me actually go back to Nimble here. Mark says, I use the deal stages to track and progress opportunities. How does workflows complement that? So I would say that creating a workflow board to properly qualify your leads could really help you, because in here you would be basically managing your leads, and in here in deals you would be managing your actual sales opportunity, somebody that you've already qualified and you're already ready to basically work on closing the deal with. So like I said at the beginning, you can use workflows for the pre-qualification process and then convert them to a deal. Or the entire company can then use it to manage other people-related processes. So hopefully this helped you. If you would like me to expand on it, feel free to let me know in the questions box. And Mark also asked, can we send a group message email to a bunch of people in a particular workflow column? So I believe I covered that, but let me go back to main contacts view here. Click segment search, click add contact filter, type in workflows, and you can do in my contacts workflow, I can select that in influencer marketing, and you can then further refine the search by other options. And then you can select them and send them a group message. So these are all the people in there. And I can also further refine it by just people in a specific column or a stage. So they would have to match all the criteria in here. Richard, can last date field be added to a card, and can a board be created based on a group of companies that have a certain tag attached to them? So let's go back to workflows. And on the right side, when you click configure fields, this is where you can select last contacted. You can pick by me or my entire team. You can have both. So this is how you add the last contacted. Whoopsie. And you can move it up. And now it would show here. So last contacted can be added this way. And regarding, what was the second part of your question? Based on the card board created, and can a board be created based on a group of companies that have a certain tag attached to them? So let's go to contacts again, and let's pull up a tag. I'm going to click segment search here. Add contact filter, I'll use tag is, I'll do all my active partners. Why is nobody in this tag? Well, I guess I was cleaning up my database recently. So let me just, I'm sure I'll have some here. No. Okay, let me just do this. Just gonna select a bunch of contacts and apply a tag to them. All right, here we go. So then I go back here. I'll do segment search. Tag is customers. Here they are. Select all of them, and I could add them to a workflow this way. I could add them to my workflow in bulk. I added them to my influencer marketing. So there should be quite a lot of people now added. So hopefully that answered your question, Richard. Jane, is there a calendar view within workflows or Gantt chart views? So currently we only have board view and list view. Jamie, is there a way to add dates to a project in workflows? For instance, we attend external events and I would like to try using projects for all of our logistics. Also, are you only able to add context to stages? For example, can you add attachments or other details? So to answer your first questions, dates, yes. So you can create custom fields on your contact records. So I'm just going to open up Alice's contact record here, or Leah, anybody. And let's say I want to capture a specific date about a specific webinar or something. I could add the information here. So I could do I don't have a date here. Where is a date field somewhere? I could create one here. Actually, you create it in settings. So let's say to my programs, under partner program, I'm going to create a custom field that will be a date field here, date field. We do have support article also, and we also have a specific webinar recording that covers how to do custom fields. So you can request all this information or go to support.nimble.com and search for custom fields, and it will show you step by step how to do this. I realize this might be too fast. So I'll do partner webinar date. I'll create the field. And now when I go back to my workflow board, I can configure the field, select field, and I'll do partner webinar date. And now it will show up here. So I'll be able to add the information to it, or I can switch to a list view. Looks like my internet is really slow for some reason. So now I'll add the, webinar date, and I'm going to pin it. And also, yes, it moved up. So now I have it here and I can set the date. So you can do so here. So that was one part of your question. Are you able to add are you only able to add context to stages? For example, can you add attachments or other details? So you can add any details on the card. Regarding attachments, those would be on the contact record. So it's always related to either a person or a company. So if I have attachments for Alice, I can go on more here on the contact record on the right side and click on files and attach files from Microsoft OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox, or upload from my local computer. So while it won't show on the workflow card, you can quickly click on Alice and see everything that you need on her actual contact record. So that's another advantage from using spreadsheets. You can actually really store everything in one place. So Ken, how does the workflow interact with activities? And the next stage of the workflow should be done on Friday. With the activities show up in my agenda for Friday? Not at this moment. We are going to be introducing notifications and automation and triggers on workflows, but not at this moment. They would have to be scheduled manually to show on your agenda. Paul, are there daily training sessions? We have, when you go, and we will share that in our follow-up email and everywhere else, when you go on our website, nimble.com, under resources, demos, and webinars, you can sign up for daily Q&A sessions. One of our customer success team members will be there answering questions real time, sharing their screen. And then we have these webinars weekly, so you can sign up for specific ones or the general overview ones. And also you can email us at care@nimble.com anytime you have a question or need help with anything. Tammy, is there a workflow for the education field, student admissions, staff enrollment? A really great point. Let me check on this. So when you go to workflows, click the drop-down menu here, click add new workflow. These are all the all the templates we have for now. And let me see which one might be the closest. So maybe human resources one, and this would be up to you if you would need to either create one from scratch if it would be easier for you, or if it'd be easier for you to tweak one of these. So this one for hiring, these are the stages that we have pre-selected. Of course, you can completely modify this. Or we also have this new hire onboarding. So take a look. And also we continue to work with more companies and individuals on adding new workflows to Nimble. So if you are interested in working with us to introduce a template that would work for this specific use case, let us know at marketing@nimble.com, and we would love to work with you. Kurt, in deals pipeline, is it possible to show summary of revenue at the bottom of each stage? So at this moment, the individual, let me go to different one. Whoopsie. Summary of revenue at the bottom of each stage. So not at this moment. Deals and reporting are under construction right now, so we will be also adding custom fields to it. So not at this moment, unfortunately. Looks like that's it. We are at the top of the hour, so we utilized our time well, I think. Like I said, there's going to be a survey popping up after today's webinar. Feel free to let us know how we did if you have any feedback. And also, if you would like us to create a specific webinar about a specific feature or specific use case. So thank you so much for joining today, all your questions, and I hope that you will have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.